Hello, friends. Chag Sameach. Happy Sukkot. This evening begins the fifth day of Sukkot. I hope that many of us had a few moments this week to reflect on what this holiday offers us. You know, at the time of the Exodus from Egypt, the children of Israel lived in Sukkot, in temporary huts, throughout their wanderings. What did they dream about on their way? About the hope for permanent dwelling one day? About staying in one place long enough to feel at home? And what about those who were born during the wanderings? Did they even know that it could be different, that it might be possible not to have to take down their temporary dwellings and move on to the next place? Sukkot is an opportunity to consider what is really important to us. Over the past half year, we have had to consider again and again the question of what is essential to us. What are the sources of stability, those things we can change and those things we cannot? This year, we could not build our lovely synagogue Sukkah. The challenge of proximity we would need in order to assemble it seemed like an unnecessary risk, especially since we could not gather in the Sukkah as a community. This past week, people from our community showed up in the backyard of our house and helped us put our Sukkah together. Mary Jo Smith and Grace Munoz, Janice Frankel, brought elements from our synagogue Sukkah, the canvas walls, the lovely harvest colors, the garlands of leaves. John Goldstein dropped off palm fronds for the roof of the Sukkah. Members of the Beth Chaim Sisterhood made paper chains, brought strings of lights, and hung decorations. Deborah Wexler brought vegetables from her garden to hang in the Sukkah, and we had pomegranates from our own garden as well. So many Beth Chaim members donated generously to our food drive for the Contra Costa Food Bank. What a wonderful way to honor our Harvest Festival. I feel like the spirit of the synagogue Sukkah has been honored here in our smaller, more modest Sukkah. Tonight we had dinner here, and it was glorious to be outside with breathable air and the sweet smell of autumn. This weekend, the forecast is for rain, and we hope it will help dampen some of the fires and bring a freshness our air and our lungs have been yearning for. On Sukkot, we traditionally read from a section of the Torah called the Book of Ecclesiastes. The legend has it that it was penned by King Solomon, Shlomo HaMelech. It's filled with wise sayings, one of which is, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for you shall find it after many days." Which means always be ready to do a good turn, even if you don't expect a reward for it. For someday you will surely find your reward waiting for you. The following story is a wonderful illustration of this saying. A very long time ago, Bar Kapara, one of the great Jewish spiritual leaders who lived at the end of the first century of the Common Era, was walking along the seashore of the city of Caesarea in ancient Israel when he noticed off in the distance a shipwreck. As he stood and looked, he saw a man swimming from the wreck towards the shore. The man seemed to be making good headway and was obviously a strong swimmer. But as soon as he got into the shallow waters, he was struggling, and Bar Kapara waded out and helped him to the shore, where he collapsed with tremendous fatigue. Bar Kapara took him home, clothed him, fed him, helped him heal, and offered him some sustenance, some money, so that he could return home refreshed and ready to move on to the next stage of his life. Some years later, the Jews of Caesarea found themselves in a predicament with the local authorities and decided to send a petition to the governor, the Roman governor. They chose Bar Kapara to go and speak on their behalf, to be their emissary. Bar Kapara prayed to God to guide him and help him succeed in this important mission. When Bar Kapara reached the governor's palace, he asked for permission to see the governor, having come on a very urgent matter. When his request was granted, he was ushered into the presence of the governor. To his great astonishment, Bar Kapara recognized the governor as the same man whom he had once saved and helped on the shores of Caesarea. "What can I do for you, my friend?" the governor greeted him warmly, recognizing Bar Kapara as his one-time savior. Bar Kapara earnestly begged the governor to use his authority in helping the Jews, on whose behalf he had now come to plead. The governor listened carefully and patiently to the story Bar Kapara unfolded before him, and then the governor said, "I will gladly do this favor for you, my friend, because when I was in such a desperate position, you helped me to the maximum of your ability without asking for or expecting any reward. Because of your unselfishness and kindness to me, I will now help your suffering people at your request." Bar Kapara had brought a significant sum of money as a gift to the governor from his fellow Jews, but the governor gave the money back to Bar Kapara, saying, Please, I can't take this money. Consider it a gift to me. For although the sum of money you gave me so long ago was not as great as this, to me it meant everything in the time of my great need. You may return to your people and tell them that I am helping them out of gratitude to you, and take my blessing with you. Bar Kapara hurried back joyfully with the good news to his fellow Jews who were anxiously awaiting his return. They rejoiced at Bar Kapara's good tidings, and they all acknowledged how true is the saying of the wise King Solomon, "Cast your bread upon the waters, you shall find it after many days." Throughout the High Holy Days this year, we defied all the odds and maintained our sense of community through this challenging time. So many people stepped up, gave of their time and energy so we could provide meaningful services and essential support for our community. You know, sometimes the greatest victory in life is not to let the reality of the present moment overwhelm us, and to succeed in gathering in all that we do have that is of genuine value, and of course, to be joyful, to embrace what nourishes us and continues to renew our lives. The ephemeral nature of the festival, the fragility of the Sukkah, which reminds us how precious our lives really are, teaches us to gather in all the goodness that is ours. So stay safe and be well. Shalom uvracha, peace and blessings, and Chag Sameach.